We're joined now by the NFL Network analyst and local high school football coach and friend of the show, Bucky Brooks. Bucky, welcome back. We've missed you. All right, let's move to the world of youth sports, where at a party in East St. Louis, McKenzie was considered a top prospect in the state and had already received scholarship offers from the University of Missouri and Illinois. I have written and talked about McKenzie's tragic death more than once this week, calling for us as a culture to look inward in an effort to solve. Going to coach Jalen in high school, Darren Sunkett reached out to me on Twitter, writing, quote, lie, women lie, Jason Whitlock, he ain't lying. We would love for you to speak to our youth at Jalen's vigil. All right, the vigil is next Wednesday, or this other St. Louis coach, Carl Reed, who had tweeted at me earlier. We spent a lot of time on the phone. And what I've come to realize, like, these coaches are struggling what to tell these young men. They're having a meeting just with their kids. And so I was like, I want to throw it out to all of us as a group. What should we be saying to these young people that continue to undermine our young people and make them feel like there is no hope?
Yeah, to give them the best opportunity, unfortunately, to survive and thrive, if you're talking about the inner city. We have to change the paradigm in our culture and our neighborhoods. What is deemed cool is actually not cool in the real world, but it's flipped almost in the hood. To be the guy who has the heavy backpack full in the streets, you're not cool, but that's actually cool in the real world. So giving them an everlasting perspective, trying to make these boys understand what men are going to feel and have in terms of responsibility. Out of their blocks, out of their neighborhoods, get them out there where they can see other trails up the mountain. Kids, and whatever their hue, their complexion, their background, just to see, wow.
And I think the village is larger than your neighborhood. It has to be even bigger than that. I think you talk about exposure. Being exposed to seeing guys, men and women being successful in other you can dream about it. A lot of us can't dream it until we see it. So we can see the basketball players. Can those people take interest in the young people in their communities and reach back and try and everyone has to be invested in our young people. We have to be invested in our schools. We have to walk the halls and take an interest in kids beyond our own, because coming up, I had others that cared about me. Others that treated me like their son, others that would discipline me when I needed discipline and the like. And I think we have to kind of shed some of the selfishness that we naturally have and think about how can I.
You know, and part of the big issue is that we always talk about young men, black men have to get out their community to see something positive. But I'm a historian by nature. Back in the 20s, it was professionals, doctors, lawyers, pharmacists, educators, okay, in their neighborhood. So they could aspire and see that back then. That was destroyed. When the communities and do what you need to do, but when you were segregated in your community, you supported your local businesses, you looked out. All these things, you had positive influences. When that broke up, it took that away, okay? And now you see out of the neighborhood in order to see something positive. Well, in other communities, they don't do that. A lot of times, is in the community, and they can see it and point to it. So for me, it goes back to education. Tell a kid, Jason, that you can do A, B, and C if you can't show it to him. You can't see the positive role models around, because whatever he has to go home to once he leaves that field, that negativity, when he comes back tomorrow, you got to work through that again.
Unlearn
and,
it again.
And learn it again and keep breaking it down. That's the issue to me.
Brags about what they have.
Big time.
And it's all in your face. I got this, I got that, I got blah, blah. And a lot of it, I think, is, one, it's a lie, because a lot of it's rented or in any endeavor, we lie to the people coming up behind us. We don't tell them about all the sacrifices that were made in order to get ahead. And I think of my friend Tech Nine, rapper out of Kansas City. This dude put in major, major work for years before he started making real money. And it's like, I wish that when I think of the sacrifices and the few sacrifices I was willing to make between the ages of 15 and 25, the rewards for those sacrifices are just enormous. Again, I know we don't push it out in our culture, but there are opportunities out here. There are different paths to getting ahead. I was an athlete and got a football scholarship. My brother had to go to the Air Force, or he was not going to college. And so he joined the military service, did that for 10 years, got it. And Jim, to your point, I think about, because we do push this message of get them out of the hood and show, but the beauty of, and again, maybe I don't know what it's like now for young people. For me, when I was growing up, my father was a small business owner in the hood. Idol of my, Leon's Barbershop.
Right,
I never forget Leon. My uncle was like, oh, okay, you can make something for yourself, right? And you don't have to run away. So I just, Coach Sunkett, Coach Reed, been thinking about you guys and thinking about your kids.
Right.
Hope we've said share with your kids. All right, coming up, the Lakers have completely screwed up their coaching search.